Hi, I'm Dr. Carl Alasko, and I've been talking about emotional bullshit and outlining how the toxic trio, denial, delusion, and blame, how they destroyed the marriage of John and Emily. And then I had a discussion about Jessica and Mark and her relationship and how frustrated she is in trying to get Mark to commit to a long-term relationship. And as Jessica has been trying to take care of her long-term needs, she's engaging in the conflict of Mark's very definite focus on his short-term needs. And now we're going to talk about two very specific techniques that are incredibly effective. I've used them constantly with a lot of clients over many, many years, and I have found them to be very effective. And they're, of course, at the core of my book, Emotional Bullshit, the hidden plague that threatens to destroy your relationships. Now, the question we go back to all the time is, because the solution to emotional BS is taking care of your core needs, why don't we do it? Why don't we just do it automatically? And I say, because our culture and our society is so short-term that we kind of absorb this information from our culture and our consumer economy, and we get all these messages from advertising: have fun now, buy this, buy that. And of course, now we're realizing that that approach to life has been creating tremendous financial upheaval and catastrophes in our economy, because short-term focus without a long-term plan does not work. So what are these two very, very fundamental and very effective techniques? The first I call the master question. It's a simple question you ask yourself in any situation. What do I need from this situation now? What do I need? Not necessarily what do I want, but what do I need? So let's just take an argument, a standard argument, and you have it with your spouse or your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your partner, your child, your teenager. It doesn't exactly work with your boss, but to some extent it does. But I'm really talking about a committed relationship of some kind. What do I need from this situation? So you get into an argument, you raise your voice, you say something nasty, disrespectful, and then you storm out, and you're angry. And you don't go back and apologize. You don't go back and patch it together. Why? Because you're right. Why should I go back and apologize? I'm right. That's the toxic trio there, blame. I wouldn't have done this if it wasn't for her or for him. So that's the position that we put ourselves in about being right. However, if you change the situation and say, what do I really need? What is my long-term best interest? You'll get the answer instantly, which is in any intimate, important relationship, what you need is to bring that person closer to you. That's a standard reply. I need to bring this person closer to me. Or, at the very least, I don't need to push this person away. So at the very least, you would be neutral and not do anything destructive, and for sure you don't want to push the person away. So understanding, therefore, that what do I need from this situation is to keep this person close to me or bring this person closer, you might take a breath and say, you know, I could argue about this, but maybe the best thing for me to do right now to advance my long-term best interest is to take a breath and just say, you know, I don't really need to talk more about this. Or just say, I need some time, I need some space, I need a moment. Give me a moment here. See, that would be you taking care of your core needs. You're asking yourself the master question: in my committed relationship with my child, my parents, my siblings, whoever it is, a friend, you know, I don't want to push this person away. So my core need is to not overreact. Now, the second, and by the way, of course, this is explained in detail in my book. Now, the second technique, which is incredibly effective, and this is called constructive conflict. Nobody likes conflict. Just the idea of conflict, you know, it brings up all of those neurotransmitters which start charging us. You know, the cortisol pours into our brain and is triggered in our adrenals, and the adrenaline starts surging, and we start feeling fear. Conflict means fear. However, if conflict could be managed, the idea of constructive conflict is managing it. Now, I have actually 6 guidelines. 6 guidelines. However, you know, in his very best situation, the 2 people would use all 6, and they'd work them through. But suppose you can't do that. Suppose you could only use 1. If you only used 1 of the guidelines, that would make a tremendous difference in all of the conflict that you have. And the first guideline is ask permission. It's very simple. It's a very simple process. I use it all the time in my marriage. I use it with my child, my children. I use it all the time, which is simple. Do you have a moment to talk about this? Honey, can we talk about our vacation right now? Do you have 5 minutes? Is it okay to discuss this? Or you talk to your teenager and say, son, can we talk about some really important issue? Do you have some time right now? And you don't proceed until you get permission. Maybe the person's tired, hungry, upset about something else, or they still have a resentment from the last argument that didn't go very well. When you get permission, it's respectful. In my therapy practice, I'm always amazed with couples how amazingly disrespectful they can be with each other. You know, you don't take that 5, 6, 7 seconds to say, is this a good time? At the same time, you have to be ready to hear a no. Otherwise, it's not getting permission, is it? It's pushing ahead, forcing the issue. What's the sense of forcing a communication when the other person isn't ready, when they're not in a space, when they have some feelings going on with them? It's like a wall. And there you are trying to push through this wall. And then what happens? You get resentment back. You feel more resentment, and we're back to the 4 major feelings of emotional bullshit, which are anxiety, anger, pain, fear. When communications don't go well in a relationship, all those 4 feelings are in play. And constructive conflict is a way to work through those. As I said, there's a total of 6 guidelines, but if you only use 1, you'll get a long way in working through the conflict that creates so much destruction in relationships. So we've done a complete review. There's 3 videos in all. It sort of explains the basics. And of course, for deeper information, you have to go to the book. So thank you very much for your time. I've appreciated sharing this with you. Thank you. Bye.